Alright, so welcome folks. Hope you're not too cold. It's pretty freezing tonight. Yes. And there is a heater here somewhere, but no one knows where it is or how to use it, so maybe next time. What have we got today? We've got... right, so I'm going to whip through some news. I've got about 15 slides.
Standing on the slide. Can't read the slide.
Okay. So the first one was MicroPython on SAMD. Damien's finally raised the PR. Finally. Okay, it was ready last month, but he wanted to tidy up a little bit. So we got.
How's he going to raise a PR on his own repository?
Well, he
does it a lot. Most of the stuff he does within a PR and has reviews and discussions with other comments.
Yeah, he does things right. There's been a little bit of discussion about it. Right now, there's not a lot of features. It's really just UART over USB, but that means that there's Tiny USB integration. Tiny USB is a library that's been built that CircuitPython use, but that gives us access to some USB functionality, which is quite nice. It's already targeting the SAMD21 and the SAMD51, which covers, I was going to say all of Adafruit's boards, but at least most of them that use the SAMD family. So it opens up a whole lot of boards that we can use now, which is quite exciting. So if that gets more feature complete, I think that's really a good feather in the hat of MicroPython. Obsidian ESP. So this is a crowd supply project from Thomas McCann. It's basically a Raspberry Pi form factor, but powered by an ESP32. So it uses the same 40-pin header that Raspberry Pi uses, and he has an I/O extender because there's not quite enough pins that the ESP32 have to support the full header. But so yeah, that you can then put the Raspberry Pi hats on this thing and communicate with them from the ESP32. It's kind of nice. He's got one of those giant Rover Bs with a 16 mega flash and 8 mega RAM. Yeah, it's got $35 on the card supply in US dollars. They always speak in US dollars. Next up, we got a software project, which is, for those of you who use BSCode, it's quite a neat little set of tools to make VS Code more usable when we're using MicroPython. It sorts out the whole linting issues where, because it's different to Python, it'll make it have less red squiggles, really. He's also stubbed out a lot of the hardware APIs, so you can use those, and again, VS Code won't complain about it, so it's quite neat. If you're using VS Code, go check that out. Hackably, so the guys who did the paper, which is this little fella here, this is an e-ink device, have released sort of a cut-down version of a very similar. You'll see the module on the back here is the same as the one used on this one. So yeah, Electron have put basically a cut-down version on Tindy for $17. It runs both MicroPython and CircuitPython because both projects have a port for this particular chipset, which is the Nordic NRF52 series. It's a pretty powerful little Bluetooth device. So if you're interested in those kinds of things, it's really neat. The only caveat here is that you do need a programmer, which they also sell for a few dollars. It just means that they don't have to load up the board with so much stuff, so that's why. What else we got? Fomus. So for those of you that are familiar with the Tobu, which we've talked about before, which is this tiny little microcontroller that lives inside your USB port. The Fomus are just starting to come out. We've covered these before, but they're basically the same form factor, so it sits inside your USB port. But the Fomus are actually a Lattice FPGA sitting in there. This Lattice FPGA is pretty powerful as well, so you can actually get a soft core running on it, running MicroPython on a RISC-V soft core. And that's already been done. So yeah, this campaign is just at the point where it's starting to ship them out, I believe. So I've seen a few online now of people receiving them for trial and for test. Really cool little product, really cool. Yeah, really fine pitch stuff too. It's quite masterful how they put this board together because there's a whole bunch of power lines that are required. And, yeah, it's pretty impressive. What are you going to do with that? People keep asking me. I have no idea, but it's cool. Yeah. The giant board. So from one extreme to the other, this is a board that runs Linux, but is in the Adafruit Feather form. So something that's sort of that size, but running a 500 meg A5. super powerful, runs Linux. Not really anything to do with MicroPython, but really useful in our space anyway. So, and there's the TTGo watch. Now these guys keep coming up with stuff. It's a watch form factor. It's actually a pretty beefy little ESP32 installation, but it's got a touchscreen 240 by 240 display, beefy ESP32 with plenty of memory and flash. So yeah, and it's funny, I consider this kind of expensive because TTGo just have driven the price right down all their products. So 40 US for this, about $70 by the time you get it shipped here, Australian. What else we got? The webcam. So the ESP32 cams. There's a couple of different models of these, but they an ESP32 on the back. They have a little 2 meg camera on the front. What is it called? The OV2640 camera. These are really cheap. I think they're like $10 or $14. They're not very expensive, but a guy with the username of Sani on GitHub has put together a C module. So a custom build of MicroPython with C support to access the camera, and he's given the MicroPython code to basically start up a web server and pull the images off of it. It's like 40 lines of code. I put it here because that's the entire application. That's basically a webcam. It's kind of cool. So if you're interested in webcams, it's a really good option. You can kind of look at the code later. Keep on going on. So the Finto beacon, these are these tiny little modules, which is good. So it looks kind of big on that screen, but these things are tiny, so that's the whole thing. It's about 18 mil in diameter, I think, 9 mil radius. ESP32 again, 2 meg flash, standard RAM that's on the ESP32. The guy, Alex, who's been building these things, has made a range of these boards in this form factor. Really targeting sort of low power Bluetooth in particular, and decided to move to the ESP32 to release another board in that range. He's also looking at doing a Pico D4 one, but yeah, plus have a look at this when you get a chance because it's really small. $30 on Tinder. PyCon AU. So first week of August we've got PyCon AU up in Sydney. I mentioned that last month, I think. I didn't have my talk accepted, so I'm going to give a 70-minute talk in a few weeks. Damien, I'm hoping you're going to be able to put me on a few little gaps I've got there. It's not the only MicroPython talk, there's actually a few, so we just had a quick look before, and there's 3 other ones that are at least related to MicroPython, so that's kind of cool. If you're going to be in Sydney first week of August, come say hi. And I thought it'd be worthwhile mentioning there's a ticket that Damien raised after 1.11 to talk about what we want to sort of put into MicroPython heading towards a 2.0 release, because it's starting to get sort of stable and getting to a point where we're getting happy with the features. So if you've got some input into that, yeah, I'm sure you do. If you've got some input into what you think should be part of 2.0, come talk to us, come right on that ticket. It's still to be decided, I guess. Yeah. I pressed the button. Tiny Pico, just quickly, I'm going to get Sean to talk in a second, but it was a successful campaign. We've been following this obviously for a little while.
It's 10 months.
Something like that. But yeah, Sean's been building boards at a frantic rate because we have to build nearly 1,200, shy of 1,200, right? So
2,100 all up, including the shields.
So why don't you get up and talk a bit about some of the problems? That was the last slide I had, so you can all relax and listen to someone else talk a bit. So.